The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply. Alright, so this is the vlogcast for the pre-season. The emotionally checked out Tiger Starburns is here, and I'm joined by Mr. Moral Victory from St Kilda Cookson.
Ooh, I'm first. I'm like the new star.
The file farming, selfie taking, cigarette smoking, AFL photo, employee of AFL Photos, Dan.
Yeah, that was great. Well done.
Proud former player sponsor of James H. Morgan Ashley.
Hello.
And
Everyone's favourite Horfy.
I was going to make a Canada joke, but I was trying to think of one.
Everyone's buddy.
Everyone's buddy for our Canada-bound flog Penal.
I had Weet-Bix for breakfast. Come at me.
The only person to be rejected from entering Canada.
All right, well, since Morgs has mentioned it, Penal, you can't get into Canada?
Oh, just because half of bloody America wants to get into Canada. You know, all the ones that didn't vote for Trump, they want to go to Canada. So they've tightened up their immigration restrictions, and you basically need to get an investor visa, basically put up a whole lot of money to get in. So, I mean, there's ways, so we'll see how that plays out.
Are you sure?
Canada tells Penal to get the fuck out.
Go and get fucked.
Are you sure, like, Canada didn't hear the egg story and they thought, no.
I mean, with their healthcare system, I imagine people come from all around the world to go and get procedures done there. So I imagine an egg wouldn't have been the weirdest thing that has happened in Canada's healthcare system. So it'd probably just be part of the course of them.
I just had some really bad thoughts about suppositories. I'm ashamed of myself.
Penal only has good thoughts about suppositories. Let's begin with GOAT tiers, as we normally do, and it's been a long off-season, a lot of stuff's happened, so I'm going to open it up a little bit to have a bit of both for everybody, because I think just picking one's going to be hard, except if you're Dan, who never has any.
I'll start out with my tiers. Tiers for Claudio Ranieri. 9 months is a fucking long time in sport. One moment, you're top of the world, you're invincible. The next, you're getting sacked because your players are lazy shits, so...
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous. This guy wins the Premier League, and then he gets sacked 9 months later, and yet Damien Hardwick's still allowed at Richmond.
Not everything's about Richmond. Can we just take a moment to reflect on what a fucking terrible decision sacking Ranieri is? I mean,
Jesus, Starburns. Richmond are Leicester's grand final.
The king of Thailand would be rolling in his grave at this, because it's an absolutely despicable act. He's earned the right to go out with dignity, and that's just...
Even Jose sympathised. I'm pretty sure Ranieri said, fuck off, take your sympathy and fuck off, Jose, but, you know...
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
And Goo honestly is one of the hardest things to select.
Really?
There's a lot of things to be gooey about. I think I know what Starburns' goo is going to be. So I'll go for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Fucking dominating.
Who?
The greatest Swede of all time.
But are you
Dominating at what?
And that's later. Shut up, Morgs.
Who is this individual and what's he dominating at?
He's 35 years old and he's banging in goals. That's what's important.
That guy, whoever he is, has nothing on Scott Sterling.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
You should know who Scott Sterling is. He's the greatest goalkeeper of all time.
Yeah, but is he playing for the team that is 6th, like Ibrahimovic?
I thought Dolph Lundgren was the greatest Swedish person of all time.
No. Nowhere near it. He lacks the heart.
What about Roger Federer?
He's Swiss.
Sweden, Swiss, the same thing.
Wait, isn't Alfred Nobel Swedish?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this guy's...
Yeah, so is the guy who invented the Celsius measurement scale, which, you know, is kind of a big deal.
Someone else would have invented it.
Somebody else could score Manchester United's goals, Cookie. Maybe they would be sick.
But they're not.
We'll move on from that. Who wants to go next?
I really can only think of Goo at the moment just because of... I'm going to have football go, but it's really good one because it's just so great to have Ruffy back and have him playing and
Good story.
around the football club and to have him be anointed captain. A great symbolic gesture, but I think it's going to be a great leader as well. The boys will rally around him. It's just wonderful to have him back.
Why have they made him captain?
Because
Who else would you make captain?
They will follow him.
I can understand the reasons for making him captain, but when you have an individual that's beaten cancer and is trying to get back to football, surely he should just focus on just trying to get a kick rather than having this huge responsibility of leading.
This was not thrust upon him by some...
I don't care who they voted for. You shouldn't put that sort of pressure on him.
He is an inspiration and they are inspired and they are prepared to follow his leadership.
He's conquered cancer and he's going to come back to football, and now you're going to put all this other weight of expectations on him by being captain.
What else are they going to do? Clarko traded away all their other potential leaders.
Well, who else could be captain?
Well, you could have good bloke Hodge do it again, but then, you know...
Ryan Burton to be captain.
Oh, it'll happen in a few years, believe me.
Am I the only one that thinks it's a little too much considering what he's been through?
I was surprised, but at the same time, they know it better than we do.
Like,
I wasn't surprised. It's clearly it is a sentimental decision, but it's because the players are prepared to follow.
But that guy's been through a lot to get where he is now. Surely he should just have to focus on getting a kick rather than having to lead an entire club and do all this extra other stuff.
I don't think he's going to have much trouble getting a kick. I mean, this is Jared Ruffhead we're talking about. He's not, you know, with all due respect, other players have come back from tragedy and kind of been mediocre players and have had that incident define them. I don't think this will be what defines Jared Ruffhead because he's
three-time premiership player and common medalist still defines Ruffy, I think, and this is just another chapter.
Four-time premiership player. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have you got tears or any more goo?
I'm going to have more goo just because of Jager O'Meara, and it's speaking of good to have people playing footy again. I mean, this is a great story as well. Doesn't have maybe the sentimental heart and appeal of Ruffy's, but it's just great to see a supreme talent playing football again. And people forgot how good I forgot how good this guy was. I mean, people were talking about him winning multiple Brownlows.
Is he any
when
good?
He was first playing.
You're looking at multiple Brownlows. He's going to cover your Liam Shields failed prediction.
No. Okay, I'm not saying he's necessarily going to go back to that kind of ceiling. But he's undoubtedly a star of the competition, and when he kicked that goal at the weekend, I mean, I was just...
I don't really get the Jago O'Meara hype.
He was pretty good younger, but he was a man-child.
He just looks... Well, that's the thing. He's just a bully. He's just a guy that's really ripped and just probably dominated juniors because no one could tackle him. He looks like a beach model, but is he any good at footy?
He's exquisitely good at football.
Is he? Okay. Well, we'll see.
I mean,
it sounds like I'm deliberately shitting on your goo. I'm not. I'm just
shitting on your goo. It wouldn't be the first time someone shat on Penal's goo, if you get my meaning.
It's usually the other way around.
More bad suppository force, man.
Oh God.
Penal's confirmed he's a bottom.
I'm going to begin with goo. I have goo for the 9 Australian cricketers not named Marsh, who pulled off the against the odds victory in India. You know, O'Keefe coming from nowhere, who I imagine everybody thought he was shithouse right up until that one over. And he took 12 wickets and basically won the game and bowled Kohli, shouldering arms, fantastic. You know, nothing better than beating the Indians on their home deck, really.
Oh, he was You look at the Facebook, like the Cricket Australia Facebook, it's arrogant Indian. They got fucking owned.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, there's something delicious about them fucking up the DRS multiple times.
Not even Shane Watson was that bad.
I know, but this is karma coming back because all the teams that have been using the DRS have actually had their own problems with their Shane Watsons and their overzealous reviews and, you know, being cost games, like the Stuart Broad one with Australia reviewing when they shouldn't have and not getting broad. But, you know, India have done this and they're still learning the lessons of how not to use your DRS, and it's just delicious. But that's my goo. Does anyone have anything to add on that?
I didn't watch cricket.
I don't like the Australian cricket team. I wanted India to win. That's all.
Thanks, Divvy.
I'm patriotic.
I realised that's going to cast me in extreme territory.
Go to
over
Canada.
here.
Fuck off to Canada, buddy.
You could probably get a game for the Canada cricket team.
John Davison.
I mean, if the investor visa thing doesn't happen, I mean, that's always the backup plan. You know, they could poach me as a cricketing superstar with my solid medium pace deliveries.
That makes you Express in Canada, I think.
I have an idea. Just with the Canada thing, why don't you just marry some chick that's Canadian?
Or a guy.
Or a guy.
I think it's okay. That's legal in Canada.
Is it legal over there to?
I believe it is. You can marry a moose over there, so you must be able to marry.
You won't have to fork out that 7.5K to.
It's not 7.5. It's 750.
Oh jeez.
I'm pretty sure I could find 7.5K, Dan.
Sorry, I thought it was 7. I thought you were struggling with 7.5K.
That's the flight.
This is why he was bringing up the show before and $2,000 and shit, because he wasn't listening to the fact it was 750K.
Why are they asking you that sort of amount of money? That's ridiculous.
Well, that's what we were saying, and you're like, well, you could just go to the Melbourne show.
It's not a fee. You're meant to take it and invest it in the like economy there and to actually grow their country.
Like if Canada told me I had to pay just 7.5K,
but it's not paid.
I tell them to fuck off.
You get them.
You're not having my money. You should be honoured that I've even considered coming to your country.
You stupid fuck.
Can we make Danny ambassador to Canada?
Well, he'd do a better job than Sarah Palin.
Is she the ambassador to Canada?
It's not 7.5K.
The US one, yeah.
She can see Canada from her
house. If Canada asked me for any money at all, I wouldn't give them a cent.
We want the internet monies. I have tiers geographically in a similar area, and I'm still annoyed over the Trump thing, but I feel I have an understanding as to how this happened, because the world is a hell of a lot dumber, because I only recently found out a couple of weeks ago that there are still people out there, a lot of them, including Kyrie Irving.
Don't you steal my tears.
That was my tears.
You bastard. You bastard.
That was my tears, that there are still people out there who believe the earth is flat.
Well, is the Flat Earth Society making a comeback?
Yes, the Flat Earth Society is making a comeback in the 21st century.
Oh, those cunts can fuck off.
Yeah, led by the dumbest, shittest Melburnian ever, Kyrie Irving. Fucking hell.
Well, we'll share the tears on this one.
I hate that guy.
But I don't even care about the Kyrie part. I hate the fact this thing exists still.
It's America. Yeah.
Oh, really? No, there's fucking idiots on the conspiracies board who...
Every satellite in space is lying to you.
Yeah, there's fucking idiots everywhere.
No, but if you look at the space satellites, the Earth doesn't look curved in the pictures. There's a fucking two-dimensional image. You know
what I find odd about this whole conspiracy? Like, why would that even be a secret in the first place? Like, even if it turned out that the Earth was flat, like some giant pizza sort of thing, I couldn't care less.
If it was
like, it's not going to change my life.
Throw it.
Who's got anything to gain by covering that up?
Exactly.
The people on the other side.
And it'd be impossible to cover up anyways. Like, if you're on a plane and you reach the edge of the circle of the flat planet, what happens? You just go off the edge?
MH360 disappears.
Yeah, that's what happened to that plane. It just went into space.
And
reached the
we've
end
been blaming Morgs all this time.
And it was really the flat Earth.
It was MH370, not 360. No wonder they've been looking for the wrong one the whole time.
Well, if you had Dan in charge of the search, then I'm not surprised.
He was going to look in Canada, but he didn't want to pay him $7,500 to go check it out.
No, listen, I know it's not $7,500. I'm just making the point in saying I wouldn't even pay that anyway, even if I was going to Canada.
You thought
You
it was
didn't know
$7,500.
before.
I
But
did
you
know.
don't have to
I did
pay. It's not a fee. It's an investment.
It's not a fee.
What-
You just have to
why
have
the-
that amount of money.
Okay, why are they asking you to invest that kind of money?
So they know you're not a fucking free
This
leecher
is-
who's just going to go over there and suck
Penal,
and
you
drive
are a
for
free welfare cheating. Well, not welfare cheating, but you are a bit of a, let's be honest. You're not there to help Canada's reputation. You're just there to just get away from
Yes,
the
I am.
family.
I'm going to be the best express bowler of all time.
You're not going to Canada to enhance its reputation. You're just there as a being you.
Oh, that's such a bad thing.
That's no offense. No offense.
No offense, Kevin.
And it shouldn't be taken. Like if I'm going somewhere, I'm not
Just
going
stop.
to enhance that. Yeah, I know. I'm digging myself a bigger hole. Look, I'm not going there to enhance that country's reputation. I'm just there to do whatever I want. And no, I'm not going to invest in some bullshit.
Just for those who don't know, teachers taking a well-deserved break from big footy this year, and Dan clearly wants to step into his shoes.
Canada's asking too much of Penal, and it's a shit place to begin with. And
So where
flappy
do you
heads.
suggest, Dan?
what's that?
Where do you suggest?
Go to Bali. They're not going to ask anything of you. They're just going to ask. The only thing they'll ask you is to have your hair braided and ask you if you want to see boy or girl.
Maybe I'll go to Sweden and move in next to Roger Federer.
Oh yeah, I got that one wrong. Okay.
Just one.
Anything else on the flat earthers?
No.
It's not flat.
It's not flat.
Spirit-
It's fucking retarded. And
It is retarded.
this sort of shit makes me weep for humanity. That like there are enough things we don't know the answers to without making up new answers for shit we do know.
And the whole flat Earth thing is not something to. It's not worth keeping a secret about. It just isn't. No one's life on this podcast would change tomorrow if it turned out that the planet was flat. Right? It's not something worth
It's,
keeping
no,
a
no,
secret about.
don't even ask. It's not flat. Dan.
Don't even engage in hypotheticals. It's not. It's.
Don't acknowledge that the argument is fucking stupid.
Can we just space any of those fuckers who think the Earth is flat?
This is the alternative facts argument when people think that believing the Earth is flat is as valid as knowing that it's not.
So how do you reason with these morons? You just not say anything.
You
You
send them
don't
out to-
engage.
You
ignore
don't
'em.
engage them because that's what they want.
Well, then why are we talking about it in the first place then?
Because I didn't
we
know
needed
I didn't
tears.
know it exists, and I had to vent. Like we're in an echo chamber here. No one believes it, so it's okay to hang shit on the fucking crazies.
Well, actually, when you think about it, they've got some good views.
Oh god.
Are these the same people that are saying that dinosaurs never existed as well?
Yeah, they're just
You
something
have
the Jews
6,000
buried in
years
They're,
old.
1929.
they're just as retarded as well.
But how can you know? Have you ever seen a dinosaur?
Fucking
Come on, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
That's literally what they ask you, Dan. They ask, "Have you been into space and flown around the Earth?" When you say that it's round.
I've never seen.
Have you
I've
ever,
never
ever
seen
held the
a
Earth
room.
in your hands?
I've never seen a room filled with $1 billion, but I know that sort of money exists, right?
Or just 750,000.
I walked into that. Okay. No, well, you got paleontologists testing fossils and shit, and
Yeah, but they're just paid off by the government to push an agenda.
even you, Starburns, said that the velociraptors on Jurassic Park weren't.
No, that doesn't mean that all dinosaurs are real. Fucking shit, that's Hollywood.
Yeah, but they're real though. You said that they were the size of a dog, and I could kick it.
Yeah, well, that's technically true, but that's nothing to do with the flat Earth or fake dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm bringing it up.
Okay, I nicked Morgs' goo. Do you have any replacement goo, or are you just happy to rage some more about that?
I hate Kyrie Irving. Tears for the Boston Celtics and their inability to land a player in the trade period. It drives me mad. Like, we'll be constantly linked to any good player and cannot land a fish. They're like Collingwood.
Well, I was going to say Fremantle.
Yeah, well, like at one stage we were getting Jimmy Butler, and then we didn't get Jimmy Butler. Then we we're going to get Paul George. No Paul George. No nothing.
You could get Boy George.
No, I don't think we can. I am disappointed. That and Kyrie Irving's a dickhead.
Yeah, because it's not like Collingwood don't get players. You got Daniel Wells and Chris Mayne. Like, you could get players.
Yay, Chris Mayne kicked a goal.
So did No Hope. Now, Morgs' goo.
My goo? I don't have any goo. I don't know. I have goo because Chelsea are top of the league.
I haven't watched any EPL since Optus decided to be cunts and take over the coverage.
Who hasn't gone yet?
Probably me.
Dan.
Always Dan.
Always me, because I've got nothing. No, I've got stuffing. I've got tears, and it's because of one Collingwood player who we were told was this big...
Well, you're not going to injury troll here, are you?
Oh, no, it's not about Katie Sheen. That was terrible.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Daniel Wells. No.
What happened to her? No, I love Daniel Wells. I want him to do well. But he's got shit calves. I mean, I don't know why they recruited him. But anyways, Mona Hope. Morgan, every podcast that you came on, you overhyped this individual as this big superstar, this 100-goal kicking season superstar. She hasn't done shit.
I know, I was sold a lemon.
Yeah, she's just a suburban football bully.
Well, that's hardly my fucking fault.
She is the most awful in the awful. She's a dangerous driver too.
She's not the most awful. No. But
No,
I feel
yeah,
like
I
I've
think
been sold a lemon here. What a disappointment the Collingwood women's team's been. Thank fuck we beat the Dogs. That really is our grand final. So we're done now for the year.
No surprises Eddie didn't show up to the first game. He knew this was coming.
You could bet your bottom dollar he was there for the win. On the ground, shaking hands. I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised you didn't miss this one. But in all seriousness, I do have tears for Kate Sheehan. That was very
horrible.
upsetting. It was very upsetting. And that'll be her career done, a whole 40 seconds, because she's old.
Hang on, why would they get rid of her after just one...
She's 35, Dan.
She's 35.
But that's her first injury, though. There have been clubs that have supported guys that have had multiple ACL injuries.
Dan, she's 35, and I think without being...
but the women's league... The women's league is only early. It's only young. I mean, why would...
Without being mean, I think she was given a chance.
She was. She was given a chance. She was only given a rookie spot on the list.
Is it going to hold back your club if you retain her for one more season?
Yeah, because I think things are going to change a little bit for next year.
But let's just say if she wasn't Mike Sheehan's daughter, she probably wouldn't have got picked up.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
But by cutting her too, that's pretty cold.
Well, no, because they gave her a chance.
We haven't been able to see what she can do yet.
And we might not.
She's had just as much impact as Mona Hope has had.
Dad, she's 35. It's like if you have a 28
Brett
rookie,
Harvey
he
plays
does
till
his
he was 50.
No, of course the North supporter doesn't understand the value of youth.
35 isn't old. Brent Harvey played till he was 50.
It is in football terms.
It's a women's league.
It's a cutthroat business. I'm sorry, it's been fun, but you're out the door. Got to get some youth in. That's the reality of it.
Well, they can't. They can barely win a game as it is. I mean, what harm is it going to do by just keeping her for another season?
But she'll miss
There's
this
an
season.
audience that want to see her come back and play.
Yeah, who? Mike Sheehan?
Oh, I want to see her come back and do well. I was saddened to see her get injured like that and see her wailing as she was coming off the ground. It was horrific.
Yeah, but she'll be back
to
by
be
the time.
fair, I don't think we didn't turn around and say you no longer have a contract. She came out and said that.
Well, that's what you're saying. She's going to get cut.
By the time she's fit, she'll be 37. And
I would rather have Kate Sheehan at that club than Mona Hope.
We've established that.
She's average. And the goal she got over the weekend wasn't even a free kick that she should have been given anyway. She's on one goal.
Thanks, Plugger.
She's at Tom Boyd levels without the grand final to play in.
Does it all it take is to have a defender that's making her accountable to just keep her quiet? I mean, did she not have any opponents when she played in the other league in the previous year?
She's been double and triple teamed at every contest.
I
understand. But she is not working hard enough. Just not working hard enough.
Is she being a bit like Pendlebury?
I don't think. No.
You should
I
go to the BNF and call her a cunt.
Pendlebury on field and Selwood off field.
I think if you're this big marketed, overhyped player that draws a huge audience, like I watched the first Collingwood game mainly to see this person dominate, and you don't deliver, then the criticism's fair.
But hasn't she already done her job then, if you've turned the TV on just to see her?
No, she's got to perform.
Because he'll switch off.
People watched the NFL to watch Jared Hayne, and he was a fucking disaster. So
No, we watched it because 7-2 screwed us and would only show us San Francisco game.
I'm not going to watch Collingwood for much longer if Mona Hope is just going to keep giving us donuts. I'll watch if Katie Sheen comes back.
That's because you're a pervert.
I'm a pervert over a 35-year-old woman.
Well, she's not a bad-looking 35-year-old.
I never said she wasn't.
she does look a lot like Mike, though. It's disconcerting.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
here's
you
the
look
thing,
at that
don't
and all you can think of is your creepy granddad.
There's
What a granddad. Do we want to say any more on Mo Hope? She's been very disappointing. I don't think there's any two ways around that. For someone who's been hyped
Awful.
as much as she has.
I'm just going to say I have nothing against female journalists or anything like that, but somebody needs to tell Callie Underwood to shut the fuck up. Your voice is like nails going down a chalkboard. It is torture.
They've put Kate Sheehan on the telecast, and she's been all right. Jason Bennett's impressive. There's been someone else involved as well who I noticed, and I was like, yeah, this is all right. And then you got Kelly Underwood just stands out like as just horrendous.
She knows her stuff. She's a good journalist, but her voice is just not suited for anything.
You know how someone you say they've got a good head for radio, because so you don't have to see him. She's got a good voice for print media.
Does Megan Hustwaite commentate football? Could she commentate football?
Who's Megan Hathaway?
She works at SEN. She's pretty good. I like her.
Megan Hathaway.
Hustwaite.
They should get Rita to commentate the football.
Oh, fuck.
Megan Hathaway?
No.
Well, I'm Googling Megan Hathaway anyway. Oh, she's alright.
H-U-S. Hustwaite.
Say that again.
Not fucking
You're
half.
just Googling the pictures, Dan, so I don't think it mattered.
Yeah, so what?
Look, Mo Hope has been disappointing considering. I imagine she's kicked less goals than the Adelaide Tom Hawkins.
Adelaide Tom Hawkins. Tex Perkins. Not Hawkins. Tex Perkins.
Well,
she's
she
the best.
looks like she ate Hawkins.
Oh, she's the best. I like her.
She's good.
Plus
She's
Erin
good.
Phillips. Adelaide have got a good side. Erin Phillips is a fucking gun.
Yeah, but they're going to have to
What's
pay
the
her
name
more
of that-
next year. Or
What's the name of
inside
that
the cap.
forward for Melbourne?
Daisy Pierce?
No, she's mid.
No,
I know
not
which
the
one you're talking
captain,
about.
the forward player, the brunette.
He said forward, not forehead.
You know, she's alright. Carney for the Western Bulldogs has probably been the most consistent player over the 4 rounds.
Has Darcy Vesio done anything since the first round? Because she was God's gift to fucking football that day.
Oh,
She
you
was
sound
good.
frustrated.
That sounds very
What a-
salty, though.
That's
fucking-
she's kicked more
what a
goals
fucking-
in one game than Hope has all season.
Yeah, exactly.
She's done fuck all since.
Well, it's more than
Fuck all.
Mona got fuck all Hope.
Oh, fantastic. Jesse White kicked more goals in one game than Andrew Swallow did in the season. He's obviously better.
Well, we will
They
come
don't
to
play in
that.
the same position.
Oh.
One plays
Jesse
the other
White
plays
played
midfield.
defensive.
Yeah, Jesse White plays in defence. That's even further from the goals, you dumb fuck.
Played forward that day when he kicked goals.
Maybe they need to give Mo Hope a run in the ruck, Robert Wall style.
Mona Hope is a worse captain than
Stop
Andrew
calling
Swallow.
her. She's not the captain.
Isn't she? Who's the captain of
No,
Collingwood?
Steph Chiocci.
Ah, why did I think Mona Hope was the captain?
Probably
'Cause you
because she
don't
gets
know
paid
anything.
the most. They stuck her out there and promoted her, and you watched for
Yeah,
it.
you're right. That's the only reason I watched Collingwood, because of this forward that was supposed to be a superstar.
I think she'll be getting her pay docked next year. She's drunk the bathwater pretty heavy.
She shouldn't even be on the list next year.
Oh. Shut the fuck up.
She's been pretty bad.
It's not like it's going to do your list any harm. I mean, you've got a forward that's not kicking goals.
She kicked a goal.
was handed the goals. She got a
So
free
if-
kick that
If,
wasn't
if
there.
they've got a forward that's not kicking goals, like they could always trade her to the Bulldogs.
There you go.
We've got a forward that's not kicking goals. Fucking put her in the men's team.
Yeah, alongside Chris Main.
That's where we usually put our forwards that don't kick goals.
Good. Let's be on the women's league in general. Is there anything else we've noticed that's been going for? It's 4 weeks now. The Crows and the Bryant. Would the Bryant's team
Let's
legitimately
just
beat the
confirm
men's?
that was 4 weeks, not forehead again.
With the Bryant's women's team, they'd beat the men's team, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Yes, I think.
Yes.
Yep. Like
I think so.
And Tom Rockcliffe would get no disposed, be too busy trying to find bang anyone who's better than a 3.
Might have to look pretty hard then.
Taylor Harris goes all right, but yeah, they're probably better than the men's team. The Crows are standouts. Collingwood is shit. You know, not that the flag would really count anyway, but Freo still aren't winning one here. They score about as much as the Australian coach team too. Anything else we want to take out of that? Look, it's been surprisingly successful crowd-wise early on, viewing-wise. The standards still got a fair way to go, I think. It looks like they diluted
That
it
was
a bit
always
too
going to
much.
be the case first time up, though.
It looked pretty bad, though. They can't expand too quickly. If they need to wait about 4 years before they expand that pool.
The scoring needs a little bit more oomph, but other than that, it's been pretty good.
I mean, that'll happen. Like the tactics will adjust. I think everyone's focusing on defence, and then the tactics of the game will adjust over time.
Apparently someone came to round 1 with a defensive game plan. The AFL got on the phone and said, "You're not doing that."
Was it Freo?
I really hope it was free.
I'll say it's good that the footy's at the local grounds because it makes it feel a bit more special. It has more heart to it, you know? It's just... Because you watch the first game and it honestly looked like it was straight from the 1980s, which is probably a good thing.
My favourite part about this time of year is that the MCG is unavailable and a lot of the other grounds are because of the cricket. And just because they go to smaller grounds, I like sending them out to the country like Narandera or whatever where GWS played, and you know Collingwood and Richmond are out at Moe. And
Adam Simpson didn't like it too much.
no, because of they had playing it in buses.
Well, yeah, he chucked a sad at having to travel. Well, it's almost like the pre-season is a preparation for what you're going to have to experience in the real thing.
Very true.
It's not like you have to play in Canada or anything.
Actually, I'm going to write many angry letters demanding that the AFL host a game in Canada next year. Once Koshi blows up the China deal, they'll be looking for another country to take the AFL to.
North played Sydney at the Coffs Harbour International Stadium. I wonder what ad has ever internationally hosted. I was really curious about that.
I think Australia versus America Samoa
In the rugby.
soccer.
Rugby
Oh,
World Cup.
Well,
I
Is that
think.
when we set the 30-goal record?
Yeah.
Archie Thompson. Anything else on the Women's League? Or Teach isn't here. Let's give it some grades. How do we feel it's been so far? You can make your grade adjustable to expectation, so you don't have to.
In terms of what? Everything, or
Just the whole package, everything about it.
we going numbers or letters?
Letters. Or you can give it a 7.5 out of 10 if you want, Dan. Just for you.
Ha. Oh yeah, that's funny. That's that's going to be funny for the next 12 months. You got 7.5 confused. I did the first time, not the second time, numbnuts. Women's League, the B+.
Yeah, I'm a B. I think it's been... Some of the things have been overhyped to an annoying
B's
degree.
good.
but
I expected a C-like quality, but it's actually been...
I think the standard's probably been lesser than I expect. I didn't expect a high standard, but at times it's been lesser. But I think the actual potential for it to not be a financial drain or actually thrive is better than I thought it would be. So
The games have been quite fierce.
the contested natures can't be questioned. It's just the skill levels are a long way off.
That'll eventually get better.
The lack of kicking penetrations is the big thing. I was going to say the lack of penetration in the women's league.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, that's the main thing I see. Like that's the problem. A lot of them, apart from Tex Hawkins, not many of them can kick it over 40 metres. And that's just means they got to get closer to goal to actually kick them, which, yeah, I'm not sure
Okay.
how to solve that.
I give it about a 5 out of 10. It's halfway there for me, and it'll only get better in future years.
Yeah, I give it a B+. Like, I went to the first game. I haven't been to one since because I worked
You
and
just
I'm
stole
on
my
crutches.
ratings.
So, yeah, well, whatever. We could both have the same letter, Dan.
Yeah, there's no
But yeah,
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was a great spectacle, the first game. And I'd go again.
Was the first game the best one so far?
No.
Do you think?
No, it was terrible.
No, the draw was decent. Melbourne Collingwood, where Melbourne came from 3 goals down, was, that was still the only comeback.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Yeah,
because that was part of the problem. Once you got a bit of a lead going, the teams weren't reeling it in. They were becoming insurmountable. But that was nice to see. But yeah, there's been better games. No, that game wasn't even the best game that week.
I just like the intensity.
The intensity's great. Unfortunately, it's shocking on the injury lists. But yeah, so far so good in the Women's League. Just hopefully they don't add too many teams or extend the season too long, too soon. Because I think they're gonna. You got to be careful about running it in the first month of the season.
Sooner,
they can't because they got a lot of cricketers. Well, they got a few cricketers.
They can't afford to have the awful mixed with the AFL.
No, not.
Because you dilute each market by doing that. It's the AFL struggle as it is having 9 games on a weekend.
Well, exactly. They'd have to find a point of difference like Sunday nights or Monday nights for that. Yep. People don't go to the AFL anyway, but it's football and they'll watch. It's got to be, you don't want to overlap it too much, and that's the problem. They've got to find a way to be, especially in the first month of the season, like if there's ever a time of the season where everyone's watching every game of the AFL, that they can. It's at the start of the year when you don't know who's shit yet.
Yeah, you can't have it at the end of the season because everyone's footy fatigued by then.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they go forward, but we'll move on from that to the JLT. Anything out of the JLT in particular? I only have one thing I want to sort of touch on, but maybe other people have stuff.
Port Adelaide are going to be fucking shit this year.
You ready to make that call in the back of a pre-season game where you only beat them by a point, was it?
Yeah, we literally didn't even bother trying for 3 quarters. Port's whole plan is just run around like headless chickens and, he'll work out. No,
That's been their plan for 3 years. Like, I can't believe they haven't evolved their game plan yet.
There's a lot of pressure on Ken Hinkley this year.
I was about to say, we did mention before, the question did want to get asked about how many coaches we think get sacked, and Hinkley's name didn't actually come up. So we've, the list of coaches who are in career-defining years is long, and Hinkley's one of them. Buckley, Hardwick, both Scott twins, Hinkley.
No, Hardwick's good.
No, he's in trouble.
He's good.
No.
He's never in trouble.
No, he will get sacked because we will not be that good. We will not be good enough.
He has survived
Golden Boy.
No.
Oh yeah, he survived first week final eliminations and not making finals and getting thumped by Carlton in the first round of the year. He can survive anything.
The longer you're shit for, the more time you run out of, and he's out of chances. Basically, if he doesn't make the 8, he's gone, and we won't make the 8.
Yeah, but you did that last year.
Yeah, but
why didn't you act last year?
Because one, they had to pay him out
at
more.
At the start of last year, people were saying Richmond are going to finish in the top 4.
Yes.
They're ready. They're going to do it.
I know, and you know what?
And your team didn't even make the 8.
I know, but the fucking idiots at Richmond are thinking, oh no, Neil Baum will fix everything. This is just the Geelong 2006 where they finished 12th and they won the flag next year because they're fucking idiots and they're gutless. He'll get sacked because we won't go.
Do we reckon Ross Lyon's in trouble? Because when he said, "Oh, Freo won't make the 8 for 4 years" or whatever it was, that sounded to me like he was almost like pleading for job security. It's like, I've got such a good list.
He's already locked up till 2020.
Yeah, I mean, Freo, they're rich from the fucking oil money over here, and they can pay him out.
Oh, they can, but I'm not sure why you'd want job security when he's got it.
If they have another low-scoring season and they don't make the 8, then he could.
If Nat Fyfe goes, he's gone. He'll get sacked if Nat Fyfe walks, I think. If they don't have Fyfe locked up, because they won't play finals. Everyone talked about their recruitments, but it's fucking Brad Hill and McCarthy who hasn't played in a year.
Honestly, Brad Hill, what a fraud this guy is. He's somehow managed to convince people convinced me that he was a good player. I don't get it. He's a fraud.
The only other thing I want to mention in the JLT is Melbourne have played 2 games now and Jack Watts has not been picked in either.
What's up with that? Is he injured or is he not getting in legitimately?
Apparently he's not working hard enough to do enough to get a game. Like, seriously, if you're Jack Watson, you're shit for 8 years and you have a career breakout year, surely you don't coast on that.
No.
Surely you don't think the job's done. Needs to stop putting fucking peroxide in his hair.
Maybe he peaked last year and now it's all downhill.
I'd say it's a pretty bad decline, but...
This sounds really terrible, but I hope it is downhill because it's much funnier if it's struggling. It is. He's Bay 13's whipping boy. One and only.
Yeah, it's no fun when he actually plays well.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's no fun, but
if he kicks 4 goals in a game, I mean, where's the fun in that?
Wishing him to fail is like just another level of cruelty.
Wishing someone to fail is like 95% of the Bay.
No, it's not wishing him to fail. It's laughing when they do. There's a difference.
Potato.
Okay.
You say the earth is round, I say it's flat. It's the same.
Oh, fucking alternative facts. Speaking of alternative facts, and this is a pretty shitty segue, but clearly Port's version of their contract with the Suns was different to the real one, or at least Koshi's was different. Oh, this thing delivers in spades every fucking time.
Like, they haven't even gone there yet.
And Koshi's trying to bully them and just like, we won't pick you to play next year. Oh, really? Who are you going to get to save their game instead?
It's just backfiring so spectacularly. They can't find a club, so the AFL forces Gold Coast. Gold Coast wear China colours. We'll be wearing their home Guernsey, and their Guernsey was on the fucking Panda.
That's what you call leverage, Koshi. Eat a shit. Wouldn't it be great if there are people at the stadium wearing more Suns colours than...
They will. They
Gold
fucking will.
They will. No one's going to buy that teal piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing because they rushed into this in so many ways. They went, whew, and they pushed it through and like, we're going to play in China. We're going to do this and someone's going to sell a home game. It's going to happen. And, you know, they didn't even dot the I's or cross the T's. And now they're going to go there and they're going to be lesser supported.
Humiliated.
Exactly. Something else I did read is apparently the Gold Coast is the favourite Western destination for Chinese tourists.
We used to run a charter flight that was full every day from China to the Gold Coast. So they'll actually know what the Gold Coast is, whereas no one knows what fucking Port Adelaide is.
Not only that, but, you know, some of them are going to be like, oh yeah, that's a place, hey, if we support the Suns and we go on a holiday, local team.
The only reason they might have heard of Port Adelaide is because of that Barrel movie. So it was Snowtown.
But yeah, financial guru Koshi, how not to run a football club, really.
Speaking of frauds, the fact that Koshi is thought of as some sort of financial guru when his fucking club runs at a loss constantly. Like, he's never had a fucking successful business in his life. Pretty much his only claim to financial fame is that he occasionally read out the stock market prices on
They
Sunrise.
wouldn't let him
for 10
into
years.
Canada to invest, that's for sure.
No, for him the price is fucking 15 million because we know he's going to blow it all.
Or 15,000 in Dan's conversion.
What about the Sunrise Cash Cow? Would you trust him for financial advice? Perfect
Can't wait
investor.
until the Sunrise Cash Cow comes out in a red and gold outfit. Just a troll.
It's amazing, though. This couldn't be more of a Port fuck-up if they tried.
The only way how it can get any worse for them is if Gold Coast somehow managed to have the song in Mandarin, like Tom Lynch busts out the perfect presser in Mandarin, and they beat the shit out of Port.
Oh, if they beat Port.
If you were the Gold Coast, the first thing you do when you get to China is hand out jumpers and just hope that you can get as many people to turn up at the game in your jumper, because it will kill him.
You don't even have to hand out your jumper. You just have to hand out Chinese flags and tell people to drape themselves in it. Because if you hand them a Gold Coast jumper, they're going to say, "I'm not fucking wearing this." But hand him a flag, it'll break his heart all the same.
Yeah.
Imagine a stadium full of Chinese people going, "Dur, dur, 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 dur," and Gold Coast kick a goal.
It's been ridiculous from the start, but the way they keep shooting themselves in the foot is delicious. Do we have anything more on that?
No. What is the pre-game entertainment? Is it going to be like Chinese in excess?
They could get wing.
She bang, she bang.
The Snowtown movie got to mention before, so another shitty segue. There is an AFL movie coming out.
Oh, God.
Anybody who watched the Oscars knows that OJ Made in America, that fantastic doco that we had a lot of goo for last year, won Best Picture despite the protests of one Strappo on Twitter. But following in the footsteps, of course, is somebody else who's about as popular as OJ Simpson, Harry O'Brien, is having a doco made about him and his life story about being a black man in the AFL, wasn't it?
About being a non-Indigenous Brazilian dancing an Indigenous round.
How I turned my girlfriend into a lesbian.
And laughed last in the process.
No, actually, this might be alright. This might be good because this might be the most ridiculed piece of film ever created in this country.
Yeah, that's it. That's only if they don't create the Essendon movie.
Why can't we have both .jpg?
Like some train wrecks are just beautiful to watch, and this could be...
Oh, Absolutely. I agree 100%. When I first heard about this, my first thoughts was, this is fucking ridiculous. Who would agree to this? And then the more you think about it, the more you go, but this could be a goldmine for whoever makes it. There'll be that many people tuning in for the train wreck that, you know, it might actually be a financial success, even if it's a critical disaster.
It's like the fucking swamp of reality TV shows with people getting married. Like, there's a new fucking show every year, and the people keep tuning into
People
this
getting
shit
married,
to watch
celebrity,
relationship drama.
Get me out of here.
Survivor.
Tucker fucker trials.
And now, Survivor's in a different class of show. There's a reason 40 million Americans watch it every week.
50
Because they're
million
retarded
voted for
and they all
Trump.
voted for Trump.
Believe the earth is flat. No, but this movie could be amazing, though. Like, yeah, you're right. The people will tune in to see something as ridiculous. It's like, what do we reckon it's going to be? What do you reckon is going to happen? Do you reckon he's going to tearfully recount the gun pointed at him?
The knife.
Is anyone going to agree to be interviewed, like, to talk about Harry? Can you just imagine?
Hang on, wait. Is this a doco or an actual movie? Or
It's a
doco
doco.
movie?
He's not going to be played by Denzel
Oh, that sucks.
or
Rather than
Mahershala
movie, but-
Ali.
Well, you
Are
probably
they gonna
bitch
get-
about the time where Buckley made that
Yeah.
Lezo joke and he sucked up about it.
I just want to see if they're going to interview Paul Seedsman over it. How did you feel when you got white-knighted about being a lesbian?
How did you feel when Harry bravely
Like,
stood up for you and your...
Why would he take offence to that? I don't get that.
Because he's a white knight mangina.
Like, I'm trying to think of a movie that was sort of like a mockumentary of someone who was completely unaware of themselves. Like, this actually reminds me of like a Louis Theroux doco, like Harry O, like just someone who's completely on another planet to the point where they don't actually know it. Actually, the Harry O doco is almost like a real-life version of a Chris Lilly Fly on the Wall series. Like, he's like Jonah from Tonga.
I was
or
about
the
to
Angry
say
Boys.
fucking Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, but it'll be real.
Yeah, it's that level of unawareness. It'll just transform it into something that surely can't. You watch it and you go, surely can't be real.
Well, we'll see if it gets a GoFundMe going on. I'll pay to see that, I think, in hindsight.
I will not pay a cent to see that, but I'll watch it regardless and ridicule it.
Will you donate to my GoFundMe, Dan, to help raise
Yeah,
the $750?
Yeah, you can have $7.50.
Nothing else on Heretier?
No, it said too much.
Dan mentioned I'm a Celebrity before. Swanee's on that. Has anyone been watching him?
No one gives a shit about that show or Tucker Fucker Trials or any other shit. All those shows are shit.
I think I've mentioned this
Survivor,
on here before.
Married at First Sight.
I've
they're
been
all
watching
shit.
My Kitchen Rules.
Oh,
That's a shit show as well.
It's a great show for the
No, it's not.
nonsense. It's one of those shows that transcends being believable and just has the level of drama.
I would watch if someone poisoned Pete Evans.
See, I watch it almost exclusively for Manu. I mean, he is just a classy gentleman, and I love what he brings to the table. Literally.
Maybe you can go to France, Penal, if you can't get into Canada. But nothing on Swanee.
No.
Let's go to some of the new captains. St Kilda picked a no-name.
What's his name? Jared Healy. They brought him out of retirement.
His first act as skipper was to speak about how they should all be more like Nick Nat and Nui.
His first act as captain was just introduce himself to everyone because no one knew who the fuck he was.
Well, when Cookie's not here to talk about it, so let's move on to one of the other captains. Freo made Nat 5 captain in a desperate attempt to keep him. We've already touched on Ruffy. North finally got rid of the worst captain ever, Andrew Swallow, in favour of Zeeble, who I imagine will hit the scoreboard at least. You happy that the Swallow era is over, Dan?
Yeah, change was needed.
It's a bit overdue, isn't it?
Yeah.
By about 5 or 6 years.
Well, he's not as bad as some of the other captains that we have, but
Like who? Wayne Carey? Is the bar that he didn't sleep with his teammates?
You've got guys like Tom Rockcliffe and Trent Cotchin and
They're better captains than Swallow.
David Mundy only lasted a year.
Still
Richie
better than
Vandenberg.
Swallow. Better than Swallow.
No,
Yeah.
come on.
Well,
now you're being
well,
silly now.
I don't know.
What,
Except for
Andrew
maybe
Swallow's worse than all those guys? Come on.
Except for maybe Rockcliffe. Yes.
You're kidding. So you're saying David Mundy... Look, I'm not even going to engage in this. You guys can carry on.
Jared Geary is a better captain.
Yeah, but what about Geary Cookie now that we got you?
Well, I thought it would be like Noons or Mavwella, but
See, I know Mav Weller, but I don't know who the other guy is.
23-year-old midfielder, pretty decent. But yeah, got really nothing to say. It's a safe option for 2 years. He won't even be in the club by 2020, so
Oh, so he's really a Vandenberg.
pretty much.
He's really a swallow.
Nah, Swallow's going to hang around like a bad smell, I think.
North just won't be able to spit him out.
Go.
Oh,
We'll move on from new captains to an old captain, Selwood's captain of Geelong, and really showed some leadership. We know where Billy Smets learnt it from. 27k is over limit. I think we'll go straight to penal on this one.
Well, I mean, you just don't do it. Like, you know where the limits are, you know the rules, and you just don't do shit like that.
You don't speed, you don't drink and drive.
Well, I mean, drinking and driving is different because you have to get home somehow, but going over the speed limit is just putting yourself at unnecessary risk, putting other people on the road. I mean, someone could have been really hurt, all so that he could drive 20 k's an hour faster. I mean, what a speed freak.
27 k's penal, 27.
I mean, that just makes it even worse. I mean, how selfish do you have to be to get behind the wheel of a car and say, no, I don't really care if I kill anyone. I'm going to break the law like a fucking wanker. It was just poor form. It's low.
didn't Bosk start a GoFundMe pledge to have him deported or something?
A petition
To have
him.
him stripped of citizenship.
Oh, petition, sorry.
But we can't send him to Canada without $750,000.
How do
So it may as well be a
how do you-
GoFundMe.
How do you deport an Australian citizen? Just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. But maybe it's because Selwood's a duck and it doesn't count.
Maybe. How fast was Mona Hope going over the speed limit? Does anyone know?
17, I
she got-
believe. Oh, 10 was it?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
something like that.
just
Just once
so
again,
irresponsible.
not quite up to standard.
Yeah,
No.
just like her performance on the field.
See, she's just slow.
Well, not slow enough. Nothing else on Selwood?
Nah, what
I'm
a prick.
disappointed in Joel Selwood, and I think punishment every Geelong result from 2008 onwards should be stripped.
Well, he was there in
Yeah,
2007 too. Oh, no, the 119, we need that. Yeah, okay, I agree.
So back-to-back Morgs, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we get number 2.
No, because I can't agree to, even though it fucks Geelong, I can't agree to this because then it means Plugger will be happy.
The,
Yes, and then it means-
the world is not a good
then-
place when that
I-
happens.
But
I-
I will be
The
happy.
dogs will shut up.
I can't have that.
But I will be happy. Do you care about me, Penal?
We care more about
Not
Plugger's
really.
misery than your happiness. Don't you know how this works by now?
Yeah, like we like you and all, but you being melancholy, it's fine. If it means that Plugger's going to lose
It's a
it.
redeeming thing for you, whereas Plugger being rage-filled is just delicious.
No, what's the TAC are their Geelong sponsor, right? And they're considering pulling the sponsorship. So
I thought the TSC got out of sponsoring AFL clubs after Richmond and Collingwood both fucked it up in consecutive years. And they were just like, there's no way players won't fuck this up for us.
well, that's probably why they fucking sponsor Geelong. It's like, well, the fucking road infrastructure is so bad there, no one can speed. So here we go. Selwood is an ambassador for the Australian Formula One Grand Prix.
Oh, he's trying to be Lewis Hamilton round the streets of Geelong.
Well, so
It is fucking-
so he's obligated to drive fast then.
On the fucking racetrack he is.
Just remember though, F1 drivers usually drive boring diesel cars because they're safe. Unless you're Michael Schumacher, in which case you brained yourself.
Well, that was skiing. So if Selwood played for Melbourne.
Yeah, he was skiing in Switzerland.
You
from-
mean like Paul Walker or something like that?
Oh,
Or skiing in Sweden.
No, he's skiing in Switzerland with his mate Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
and Roger Federer. Nothing else on Selwood?
Just disgusting.
Disgusted.
Oh, I love your faux outrage. It's my favourite.
Speaking of fuck-ups, the AFL Live app. Some people are of the belief that this was deliberate, and part of me thinks this is such a bad fuck-up it couldn't possibly be because it's just so bad. It's far too audacious to be deliberate. But what do you think of this iPhone-size video?
No, I'm not surprised. The AFL just can't get their online presence right. I mean, I'm on their website right now with this TAC article, and it's got, on the right-hand side of their webpage, it's got recommended videos, recommended articles, and they're all from 2013. Surely you guys would see that as well. How can they continually fuck up and not fix their online presence?
Telstra pay them a lot of money to run the site and not give a fuck. Basically, that's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, I tried to use the live streaming thing like once last year when I was away, and didn't work. I nearly tore my hair out and just gave up on it.
Whoever runs the AFL website is the Mo Hope of web developers.
Shocking.
Awful.
We're really quite slack on like the whole digital content. I mean, you look at NFL and all that shit with their passes, and AFL's like, go fuck yourself.
You know what they should do? The AFL allows the clubs to post video content on their YouTube channels. Why don't they just run the live games through YouTube? Because you can access YouTube on your phone.
Well, imagine someone would like pirate that shit, like the Mundane fight or something.
Well, what's stopping them from pirating the AFL Live app?
It doesn't work.
It's too low quality to fucking bother with.
Apparently they've changed the YouTube as well. It used to be in high definition. Now they've apparently stopped doing that.
Oh, you're fucking kidding. We finally get it on TV and then it disappears from YouTube.
I'm not sure about the highlights though, but I know they got rid of the smart replay shit.
If you're walking around with 4G usage on your phone, then the quality should be good. And if it's not, then you have every right to complain.
Correct, but unfortunately there are no alternatives, and this is how...
I mean, why are you guys watching AFL content on your phone when you can just watch it on the TV?
See, this would never fucking happen in Canada. I'm just saying.
Them and their ice hockey, you never have to watch that on the phone.
You never have to watch iPhone quality ice hockey over there.
You should see the quality of the Saskatoon Rough Riders. Their internet quality is brilliant.
I think I've found my team.
There's 2 Rough Riders, though. You got to pick your Rough Riders.
He just wants the bigger ones.
Anything else on the live pass?
I don't have it. Doesn't bother me.
I don't have it either, but I'm outraged on behalf of it.
It's not my problem, but I'm outraged anyway.
Yes, exactly.
We will write a strongly worded letter.
Got to drop a whack where you can. We sort of mentioned the new rules with the ruck contest. And people want to scrap the bounce. Anything on that?
No, yeah, pussies. You bounce the ball. You don't tell us whether you're going to change the rules or not. If you don't want to do it, we'll find someone else that
But
can.
then we can get better umpires, and then Plugger might be happy for once.
Fuck Plugger.
We don't want that.
Personally, I don't want anything to change. I would like to keep Matty Nichols, Matty Stevic and Andrew Stevens umpiring as long as possible, as many games as possible.
Anthony Stevens.
I know someone who umpired.
Suze doesn't count.
Not Suze.
How do you think Suze would go trying to bounce the ball?
Well, her arm's obliterated off the bone, so probably not great.
That arm hasn't recovered in 3 years.
No.
Can't even go to the footy.
Can't go to the game.
She's got tiny little T-Rex arms. How the hell would she bounce a ball?
Well, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it would go.
But no, I tend to agree. How bad can it be for your back, Cookie? Where were you going with this?
Well, he's like apparently before he became one, he was practicing bouncing balls about 12 hours a week just to get it right, and that's assuming all the fitness and all that. And he says it fucking hurts his back.
What do you reckon, Dan?
No, the bounce has got to stay. I mean, the pussies that are complaining about the bounce and the strain that they're having on their back, just harden up.
Stop.
Drink some concrete. Yeah, the bounce has got to stay.
I agree, the bounce has got to stay, and I don't know what the solution is if it hurts their backs.
It's abusing.
Stronger back.
Put your back into it.
Well, I mean, the umpires that were bouncing balls regularly throughout a game during the early 2000s and 90s and even before that didn't bitch about it, did they? And they had to do more running because there were less umpires on the ground. They didn't bitch.
Exactly right. They just got on with the job and didn't complain.
Oh,
It's
back
all this
in my
fucking
day.
new generation of baby umpires.
Of which we are all a part of.
We're not soft umpires.
Can
But aren't
we
they-
get
aren't they
as
bouncing
Guardian on here to fulfill
Back in my day.
to fulfill our old man quota?
He can't even fulfill his bets.
Anyway, the last talking point that we're going to briefly touch on is the AFL players getting the sooks up and not wanting people to have access to GPS data. Well, fuck.
Let's just go through and name who we think did that.
Scotland.
P. Dangerfield.
It's got Tubby Porkins written all over it. In tomato sauce.
Josh Jenkins is a great example of it because you'd be able to measure how fast he runs up the ground, how fast he runs back to goal, and you'll see the difference is huge.
Well, you wouldn't have to measure the Collingwood midfielders because they only run one way.
Crabs, Rockcliffe's GPS data's all sideways.
You guys talking about this thing that's on the side of their ear, or?
No, I think those
No,
are
that's the
concussion
concussion
sensors.
That's a
things.
concussion monitor.
Oh, yeah.
Determined.
Okay.
This is the
Yeah, I've
GPS
seen one
data
of
that
them
clubs have
close up.
always had access to that they wear in the back of the jumper, and clubs have been using
Right.
it for like 3 or 4 years now, and now the broadcasters want the data to be able to see. Tom Hawkins covered 7.5 Ks across the last 3 games.
Yeah, that concussion thing is just there to determine once you get a hit, on a scale from Rocky 1 to Rocky 5, how fucked up is your brain?
From Rocky 5 to Chris Benoit.
O.J. Simpson. Anything else in the GPS title? Everybody knows who the lazy pricks are, but if you're a pretty common viewer, if you listen to this, you know by now that Pendle is unaccountable, doesn't run hard. But fair income, you don't want people knowing whether you're cheating.
Alex for solo.
The only thing I could see about this that's a massive downside is if someone carried an injury and started covering across a handful of weeks, covering less and less ground, and it was obvious there was a trend that they're only covering 75% of the ground they'd normally cover, then all of a sudden opposition players know they're not right. Opposition clubs know they're not right.
The only person that I reckon would be up for this is Travis Cloak going, I know I can't kick goals, but look how far I ran.
Oh, he wouldn't be the only guy with a huge tank that does nothing. Chris Mayne's probably he'll be loving it. He'll be number one at Collingwood for GPS movement.
And tackles. Inside 50 tackles. That's what he's there for.
Anyway, let's move on to the questions. And we've got a handful of questions. I'm going to turn two of the questions into one. I'm going to ask four of us. Who is a bigger flog/cunt? Cookie for knocking over Not Cookie's beer at Amy Park, or Dennis for being late with Cookie's dinner on Saturday night?
Cookie.
Who's Dennis?
Sounds like a bit of a menace.
A friend of mine.
No,
This is the same friend with the cabbage and the green shit?
Capsicum.
No.
The capsicum,
was-
sorry.
No, his mum was a KGB sniper though, and she scares the shit out of us.
Does she have a house full of guns?
No. She's now an organic farmer.
Oh,
It's quite a career change.
You can't trust
That's why
those
dinner
organic
was so
people.
late, because it takes a long while to, grow the food
Yeah, to
properly.
go from farm to table takes like 8 weeks.
What a wank.
So,
I think
I
so,
think
Like-
that's understandable.
so I know who Dennis's mum is, but I don't know who Dennis is.
so when are Dennis and Cookie going on My Kitchen Rules?
Next year.
So I still don't know who Dennis is. I know who Dennis's mum is, but I don't know who Dennis is.
Dennis is a friend of mine, and he's Russian.
And what's the relevance to the... Why is he...
he
on
didn't get
podcast?
Cookie's dinner on time on Saturday. He made him
I
wait.
was really excited for a barbecue, and so was my mate James, and fucking denied. It was shattering.
Takes a
Okay.
long time to go from farm to table. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
It's
okay,
better
yeah,
if you
okay.
call it paddock to plate.
Dennis can have my vote.
Nah,
No, Cookie gets
Cookie
mine.
gets
Cookie-
mine
Cookie-
for
Yeah,
spilling
you
perfectly
just-
good beer.
You can't dog the boys like that and just spill the beer.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Cookie,
but-
but
Dennis's mum is like an ex-KGB spy.
maybe she knocked over the beer.
So she has ways of making you talk.
In Soviet Russia, dinner waits for you.
Maybe the movement of the tectonic plates on this flat Earth caused the beer to spill over all by itself.
I think the beer spilt because you were in shit seats, Cookie.
That is probably true. There were so many stairs. Fucking stairs.
What, at Amy Park? There's compared to any other stadium, there's way less stairs.
Still stairs.
You got ripped
How-
off with those tickets.
We had a 6-year-old kid near us calling a T bastards and cunts. I'm going, what
Did
the
he
fuck?
have a
I
flag?
was going to say, yeah, you should have done what Morgs did and just put him in his place.
Lucky NL wasn't there with the flag.
Alright, I think we've answered it. Cookie's the worst bloke. And it's also great that you let your disagreements with each other play out in public the same way Morgs and NL and Penal and Teach let theirs.
No, I'm not allowed to mention NL anymore because apparently Bosk has a real problem with the way I treat him.
But he also said that's the only thing that makes it interesting.
Well, you have hit him on a number of
No.
occasions on the podcast.
No, he hits me.
Yeah, but we don't hear about
Yeah.
that. We only hear about you.
No, because I saw Bosk's post, and the only thing I could think of was when NL wouldn't even let Morgs tip.
Yeah, remember?
Is he
That's
Casey
right.
Affleck, is he?
And
Yeah, he's a jerk. I don't mean that. Oh, whoops. I did it again.
You're mean. You are a bully.
you're a bully. You're like Mo Hope. You're just a bully.
Next question. Smeghead wants to know, on a scale of 0 to lethality, how much of a sookie cunt is Virat Kohli?
I like Virat Kohli. I don't think
He's
he
a-
did anything wrong.
He's a half lethality.
He's a solid 7.5.
He failed to fix my internet connection when I spoke to him on the phone. but he's a pretty good cricketer from what I hear, so I think he's okay.
I don't get the hate.
It needs personality.
The bloody Aussie cricketers haven't done. I mean,
You don't get an opinion if you don't even like Australian cricketers.
well, I can't, since Hilfy left, I haven't been able to support the Australian cricket team. I just can't support a team that's full of wankers.
Peter Handscomb's not a wanker.
He is. They all are.
Matt Renshaw's not a
No,
wanker.
Matt Renshaw's not a wanker.
I'll give you Renshaw.
He might have shat his pants, but he's not a wanker.
We're still on like 10 out of 11.
No, it's just Dave Warner and the Marsh Brothers.
Hazelwood's not a wanker.
He is. He's fucking McDermott 2.0.
Yeah, but he's not a dodgy cunt like McDermott.
Yeah, I was going to say McDermott only became a wanker once he started stealing people's money. And you know what? If you had that idea, Penal, you'd be able to get into Canada.
Stark just has a weird looking face, but he's not a wanker.
I think solid 7.5 is probably a good point to move on from. Flog of the off-season, thread of the off-season this month on the Bay. We'll go with thread first.
Ooh.
I want to nominate the Flog of the Year thread. That's my pick. Just that went on and on and on and on and on, and they would not let that go. Whenever one of them did something or stopped, another one would arc up. So that's my pick. What else have we got?
I did like North is the most vanilla side of the modern era.
Is that yours?
No, boss.
Right. Moffra's effort. Ross Lyon is St Kilda's most successful coach ever.
What the fuck's everyone going after St Kilda this month? Fuck all y'all.
Because of your supporters. Except for you.
Yeah, basically, this is all to do with Plugger.
It's like drive-by shooting. I'm getting shot. Plugger's just walking around like a Kiwi twat.
I'll just get Dennis's mum to shoot back. Alright.
Any other threads in the off-season that we're thinking of?
No, actually, I'm going to go for the test thread, the recent India one, just for everyone tripping balls about Steve O'Keefe.
I liked the tag a flog thread, but it got deleted.
By extension, are we allowed to nominate stuff on the Stronzo as a tool board?
You can nominate any thread on any board. The Cookie just nominated the cricket board.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you have one there? Was it Suze's artwork thread or what?
Yeah, I was going to go with something that Suze created.
All right, there we go. So which one's it going to be?
Oh, it has to be Flog of the Year.
We have to give ourselves a reach around, so Flog of the Year.
Flog of the Year. So we've already effectively acknowledged our 3 flogs of the year by giving it thread of the off-season. Pete's the thrower who made himself famous by throwing the pizza. Tie Boys, who so sensationally after getting the badge denied Chief his $10. No Majorca for Chief. And Plugger, who melted up a storm. But who else do we have?
I've got to nominate an entire board. The soccer board. We know Plugger at least owns the fact he hates umpires. People in the soccer board spend 1 week insulting Plugger. The very next, they think there's a conspiracy to support certain clubs. So fuck a lot of them. We're hypocrites. Hypocrites are flogs.
What else have we got?
I'd like to nominate the SFA board because
I'd like to nominate the conspiracies board. Specifically the flat earth thread.
I'd like to nominate Dan.
Oh.
He's been a bit of a flog tonight.
well, you are an abusive, plain disappearing bitch. Leave Northern Lights alone.
I would like to change my vote to Dan.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Ah, sucked in.
Or can I vote for myself?
You can vote for
Oh,
yourself 7.5
just-
times.
just
No one cares.
Make it unanimous. Yes, a 7.5 joke. Yeah. Yeah, sure, vote for Dan. Why not?
Congratulations, Dan. Last episode's poll from the outtakes, which were released about 10 days ago. So still plenty of time to listen to those. How long is the question? 5 seconds was 0%, 7.7 or nearly 7.5%, 7.7% for 30 seconds, 0% for 60 plus seconds, 30.8% for 0 seconds, and 61.5% said boobs make jackpots cry.
It's why it's been dropped.
Finally, we move on to predictions for the season. Always fun. Teach isn't here to pick North for the flag, which is unfortunate.
But I am.
You're here. Well, we'll begin with you. We want a premier, a wooden spooner, a riser, a faller, and a bold prediction that's generally unrelated to any of those.
Okay. Premier will be the Greater Western Sydney Giants. A faller will be the Western Bulldogs, to not make the 8. And spooner, I will go with Brisbane, still shit. And bold prediction, Hardwick still won't get sacked.
That's not bold. That's actually going to happen.
Did you pick a riser? Sorry, did you pick a riser?
Collingwood.
Very, very safe prediction there.
Fuck.
Yeah,
You
very
can bet your house on that.
Oh, well, someone else go and I'll think of a better one.
Actually, I should just bet my house on
Why don't
literally
you- why
on
don't you bet-
Hardwick staying, and then I'll have my 750 grand. Just bet it all on Hardwick staying because you know that's a safe bet.
Do I go next?
Yeah.
Who's going to win the flag? I've got a funny feeling the Cats are going to do something silly this year. So I'm going to say Geelong. The spoon will be St Kilda's. You got to go with something bold, I think, because if everyone just goes with Brisbane,
That's why we have a bold prediction.
Okay, well that can be my bold prediction as well. Hawthorn will be the drop. They won't make the 8. And geez, I've gone with a lot of bold shit. And the riser will be. Can I just say St Kilda again so that I'm safe? So if they make the 8, I got it right.
This is the equivalent of tipping the draw at prediction time, is
I've
it?
just gone each way on St Kilda, basically. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're either going to win the spoon or they're going to play finals. So I'll just go with that.
All right, I'm going to go Premier, GWS, Spooner, Hawthorn.
Oh, that's a big drop.
Oh, please.
Kidding.
I'm not saying that because...
No, don't back out just because we're laughing. Stay with it.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I want number 1 draft pick for fuck all. Biggest dropper will be Brisbane.
Okay, how much further can they drop, really?
They can go a lot shitter on field.
They still won't win the spoon, though, apparently.
Biggest riser, I'm going to go for Melbourne, which is quite risky considering they're mental midgets. And bold prediction, you know what? The Australian Federal Police will uncover a heinous umpire corruption ring, leading the dog's flag to be stripped and Plugger to be vindicated.
No.
It's a bold prediction, not what's Morgan's dream.
Your dream? Please. This is to be the greatest day in Plugger's life. Like, you think he doesn't shut up about the moments in the past as it is. If this happened, he'd tell you what he was drinking, what he was listening to, and who he was with at the time he heard the news.
This is all he lives for now. Like, that is the only thing keeping him going. The hope that one day he may be proven right and that the AFP will say, yep, umpires conspired to win the Dogs the flag, and then he can die a happy man.
Umpire conspiracies are the flat earth theory of the AFL world. It does not exist.
If that ever happened, you would have to be obligated to give him Poster of the Year. You just would.
And make him modder the dog sport. Manaclay would be so fucked.
Has everybody else gone?
No. Look, Premier, I was going to say fucking Adelaide, but after Cookie's little bullshit act there, I'm going to say Hawthorn just because, you know, it'd be the great capstone to the story of our era, Ruffy coming back, getting to hold the premiership cup aloft on the dais. Yeah, so it's gonna happen, 100%. Spoon, Brisbane, they're just that bad. Riser, Carlton, because Bolton's a great coach. He'll surprise a few people this year. They'll win like 10 games or something like St Kilda did last year.
Did you watch them this weekend?
No, I didn't. But besides, it's just a Mickey Mouse competition. That I don't read anything into it anyway. The faller,
They were
of course,
appalling.
the faller, of course, will be Geelong because, I mean, atrocious leadership. They're just going to be in a death spiral. I mean, they'll be bottom 4 because of just such a bad captain. And my bold prediction is Koshi will come back from China with a leaf out of Chairman Mao's revolutionary plan, and he'll sack Hinkley and take over as coach himself.
Prediction Premier, look, Giants, they nearly got there last year. It's really hard to see who's going to beat them. Like, the Dogs would have to do it again, and I'm not sure they will. And really, there's no one else coming up at a rate of knots to catch them. The Spooner, lock in Brisbane. You can make a case, if you really wanted, for pretty much every team to make the 8 this year except Brisbane, and I just can't see a case for Brisbane being anywhere other than on the bottom. They're just really bad. The Riser, Melbourne, to who knows how far. They could just put it all together. They've got a lot of pieces there. The Faller, I'm with Penal on this one, Geelong. Down the bottom 6 with Richmond gifting us 2 top 6 draft picks for the new coach to use. And the bold prediction... What? Did you say? Same coach, Dan. And the bold prediction is that Tom Boyd will be in the twos by round 5, replaced by Travis Cloak, and will probably only be seen 2 or 3 more times for the year in a big burst of comet sighted once and never again. That's why I really think that was a flash in the pan, that game, but a beautiful one at that. But that's everything, is it? Is there anything else we want to add before we wrap up?
Did Dan go? What was Dan?
Here.
Yeah, well, no. What was your bold prediction?
Oh, I might have
Saints
been
for the spoon.
Oh well,
Saints for the spoon.
I'm changing mine.
He picked the Saints for the spoon, and then his bold prediction was Saints to make the 8 at the same time.
Well, I thought they were his rise award.
All right, my bold prediction will be that Luke Beveridge will be the first coach sacked next year, this season, in a very Leicester-esque cloudy.
Got a better chance than Hardwick, that's for sure.
Yeah, just to really piggyback off the Leicester story.
That's more wishful thinking than it is you thinking.
Cookie went wishful thinking on the conspiracy.
That's true, I guess.
Never said how to be realistic, just something stupid.
Well, you want it to be semi-plausible. What was Penal's bold prediction? That's believable. I could see Koshi doing that. I could see Tom Boyd being Spudley. I probably can't see the rest of them.
Do you want a serious bold prediction then?
Yeah, give us a serious one.
There's going to be 5 coaches sacked by the end of this year.
Who?
I agree there will be at least 3. I don't know who they are.
Hardwick's dead.
Easy. Hardwick, Scott, Buckley.
Hardwick's gone. Brad Scott's gone.
You don't have to say which Scott.
Hinckley's
Just
gone.
say Scott. Just say
Well,
Scott.
both.
And you've got 2.
It's both, anyway.
Why would Brad Scott be under pressure? There's no pressure on North to perform this year.
No, Chris will go before Brad. Chris has sold the farm to get what he's got now. If they don't succeed, they're gone.
Dan, there's no pressure on Brad.
No? Cousin Brad is in the clear.
But pushed all the oldies out, they topped up, they fell way short, and now you're set for another rebuild with him.
Yeah, but they've already committed to that. That's done.
Yeah, but they played finals though. They did as well as they could, and they.
Yeah,
I think.
They've committed to a Brad Scott rebuild.
The coach has done well enough to see the next transition.
But he didn't see well enough to forward plan and realise that they weren't going to go all the way.
Well, we have 18 clubs and only one team can win a premiership each year. I mean, one wins, 17 others fail. I mean...
Yeah, so how good do you have to be to win 3 of them in a row
without
any salary cap assistance?
But I guess the point is, Dan, you got a couple of handy finals wins, but you never put yourselves, even though the Dogs won from 7th, got a bit lucky probably because of the week off, but you never really put yourselves in position to be close. Like, you got smacked in those prelims. It's not like your St Kilda who went devastatingly close, like 2 or 3 times. Or Freo playing one of the worst first halves in grand final history and only losing by 15 points. You know, or even the flash in the pan Crows and Power nearly beaten Hawthorn in MCG prelims. It's like, you were still a fair way off it.
You were Arsenal. You finished 4th. That's it.
Actually, you probably got a lot more in common with the Dogs making consecutive prelims. Apart from that St Kilda game that they bitch about, they got cleaned out, and the other 2 prelims they lost. They weren't near it.
So if there's pressure on North, then what's the expectations for them to do this year?
Scott won't be able to rebuild. He's just not a rebuilding coach.
What's the expectation for them to finish this year?
I reckon 10th.
It's not the expectation of where you finish. It's how you look in your rebuild.
It's the youth development.
It's a very small example.
That's why I think
the first 2 weeks of the
Lions in
preseason
trouble
games
as well.
okay.
Yeah, Lions in trouble for the same reason. Hardwick's in trouble for the same reason. Buckley's in trouble for the same... These coaches are all in trouble because they've not kicked on and they can't be trusted to rebuild again.
Do you guys remember the North list before Brad Scott came to the club? It was under the Dean Laley era. It was shit. That club was nothing. He rebuilt it and got him playing finals again. That's more than what a lot of other...
And he didn't get you all the way, so can you
And you're
trust him
happy
to
with
take you
that?
to the top of the mountain again?
No, I'm not happy, but it's better than what a lot of other coaches have managed
Honestly,
to do.
there's very
Like
little difference between Brad Scott
Lepic,
and Hardwick.
like
There's
a lot
very
of other
little
coaches.
difference between Scott and Hardwick.
There's a whole lot of difference. One's won
there's
finals and
shitloads
the
of
other one
difference.
hasn't.
Brad Scott is a much better coach than Hardwick. North doesn't have a better list than Richmond, or better high-grade players than Richmond. Name players at North Melbourne last year that were better than Dustin Martin, Alex Rance, Brett Delidio.
We don't have to
Name
wait
one.
anymore.
No,
Name one.
Brad
Ma-
Scott's
except
not
for-
even the worst coach in his family, whereas Hardwick is.
I feel like I'm doing this whole Andrew Swallow defending captain bullshit.
No.
No, don't do that.
North had so many promising young players when Brad Scott took over, and he ruined them. I mean, what happened to Liam Anthony?
Milky Warren.
Even I don't even know who Liam Anthony
Where's
is.
Gavin?
Gavin
Urquhart?
Earhart.
He's going to be better than Pendlebury.
Ed
God.
Lower. What
He probably
happened
is
to
better
Ed
than
Lower?
Pendlebury.
Kieran Harper.
Penal, you're talking about fringe players that are just average and never
No,
really got...
I remember
These guys weren't good players.
Liam Anthony was meant to be the next best thing.
Says who?
North supporters.
North forward.
Okay,
players.
so
He
so
played
we've
like
got a few
100 games.
Delusional kangaroo supporters. Every club is like,
Sean Atley. North supporters laughed at Dodoro when he took Heppel in head at Atley.
where are you guys going with this?
Well, your best player last year was a 46-year-old.
Okay, you guys are the board directors or the CEO. What would you have done?
I would have sacked Brad after
Yeah.
that loss to West Coast in 2012. It's
Who would
clear
you have
then,
got?
and it's clear now that he can't coach.
2012.
I'd have sacked him
got-
after the choking year. Grant Thomas style.
Okay,
So-
and who would you have got to replace him?
Luke Beveridge.
You could have got Beveridge. You could have got Richer.
Bolton.
Mick Moldhouse.
See, and when you say Bolton, that's what pisses me off the most about us having Hardwick. If we'd acted when I wish we'd have Bolton, but we didn't.
By Richmond's rationale, if they've stuck with Hardwick, then North Melbourne should absolutely, definitely stick with Brad Scott.
Well then, if you want North to adopt the same dumb decision-making process as Richmond, then be my guest.
It's different because Richmond coming off a lower base. I think Hardwick's been a better coach over the journey of pound for pound.
You're fucking crazy. Brad
Neves-
Scott has got
Neves been an
more
idiot.
out of his list than Hardwick has out of Richmond, and North doesn't have a better list.
Yeah,
It's
but
virtually the same.
That's the thing. Brad Scott's a good motivator, good coach at getting the most out of a list.
Hardwick's
Okay, so why would you get rid of that sort of individual then?
Because he won't
Because-
win you a flag ever.
Because he's not going to take you all the way, and he'll waste your next generation.
Why are we having a main board discussion about Brad Scott?
Because we're smarter.
Because despite what Bosk wants us to be, football discussion is all right. We can be a little bit main board.
No, we don't need to. We can talk about
I'm
Lethal's
hey,
therapist.
Hey, do you reckon he's a chance once he stops seeing it professionally?
Once he stops paying her, he ain't seeing her again.
Probably the story of his life.
What's this talk about hodgepodge again?
He's ceasing his sessions with his therapist. He's wondering whether he's got a chance of banging her. Yeah.
Well, I'd say the odds aren't in his favour, but, if Paddles can get his bicycle story, and if there's any truth to that, then anything's possible.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was great. So Brad Scott's a good coach, and he's going to stay there for the next 4 years.
Nah, you need to sack him.
As long as Damien Hardwick has a job as a head coach at
That's
Richmond,
a really
I
shit
know
bar.
Brad
That's
Scott.
a really shit bar to set, man.
He's not going anywhere. He's not going to get sacked.
He's sacked.
He has
He'll be-
survived the worst of the worst, and he's still there.
He'll
He's
get
still
sacked
standing.
because we will not do well. We'll be shit. He'll get sacked.
He's part of the
But how-
furniture.
I agree with you. He should go. He should have gone ages ago. But for some reason, he just cannot be. He's the boss of some video game that you're just struggling to kill.
The board answers to him.
Yes.
He's gone this year. He went backwards. He was going forwards every year, then he went stagnant 3 years in a row. Then he went backwards 1 year, and they went, oh, it's okay. And now we'll probably finish roughly the same, bottom six-ish.
No, it's fine as long
And
as
then
they.
he'll get sacked
as long as
because
they-
he's not going forwards.
No, he's great as long as they tick off the KPIs and all that, and they
Yeah,
work.
it's all about the off-field numbers.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Mate,
Hardwick's fine. You've realised what the problems are, and you're going to train and correct them. Then it's all good.
You don't get to
Oh,
make
good.
that excuse forever.
Yes, well, if you're the Richmond coach, you can because you've been putting up with it for the last 3 or 4 years. What's another year?
But there's no KPIs being ticked. That's the point.
You don't know that.
Though. You don't know that. He says it enough in his press conferences.
Yeah, and he says the other team's a good side. Everyone's a good side.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, they are.
No, they're not always.
I think you're being too harsh on Hardwick. I think he's done a good job.
He's
Yeah.
pathetic. He's the worst coach we've had in my lifetime. Comfortably. No.
Terry Wallace.
Worse than terrible. No,
Danny-
actually, there's
Danny-
one worse.
Danny Crawley.
There's one coach who was worse, but he was only a coach for about 8 weeks. That was Jade fucking
Rawlings.
Rawlings.
So
Jade
he's
Rawlings-
worse than Danny Frawley?
Yes, the only coach in my
Spud was a
lifetime.
good coach.
When I say lifetime, I actually only go back as far as Northey. Like I can't remember Bartlett, even though I was technically alive. But from Northey to Hardwick, he's the worst, bar Jade Rawlings.
The players that they play for him.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. You can see how much it means to them when they win. They rally around the coach. They embrace him.
Did you not see them
He's part of the
after the
family.
Collingwood win? Oh, God, they were almost throwing him in the air.
Damien's the man.
Yeah, and Melbourne players did that to Mark Neal when they beat Essendon. It doesn't mean they play for him.
He's part of the furniture. You'd hate
Yeah,
to
they
see
love
him go.
they love Dimmer. He's there for the next
Decade.
Gone.
Decade.
Gone. I'm not even concerned.
He's the next Sheedy.
Yeah, but the difference is Sheedy showed he was capable of winning flags. Hardwick isn't.
It might happen under the Hardwick regime.
No, it won't fucking happen under the hard. You can't even say that with a straight face.
I know.
The more years spent on Hardwick, the longer that rebuild's going to take, and the bigger a hole we can end up in. We'll end up like Brisbane or
Who are you
Melbourne.
going to get though? Like you could get a guy that's even worse. Like imagine if you brought Lepich back.
We're not going to get Lepich either.
Why would you want to change? I mean, they have Hardwick. He's a good guy. Would you take Brad Scott?
No, I wouldn't take Brad Scott. No.
Take Chris Scott.
Chris Scott is just the luckiest coach in the AFL because he only got a job at Geelong because Brad had a reasonably okay-ish year at North, and
No, he
and
didn't. He only got a job there because he was under fucking...
no,
He was under... Who was he under?
his
I think
brother had
Harvey.
a reasonable year at
Who?
Harvey's a shit coach. He only got that gig because his twin brother had a reasonable first year at North, and people thought, well, that'll translate to another club because he's Brad Scott's brother.
You really think
Chris
he got a
Scott-
job because Brad Scott had
Chris Scott was nothing more than just an
Telepathy.
average assistant coach at Freo.
Someone had to get that Geelong
A
gig
club,
after
a
Bomber
club that
stepped
had
down. They were ready to roll.
Zero success. Like, this isn't some assistant from Hawthorn or from Geelong, where they all go to other clubs and become senior coach. This is an assistant from Fremantle. You tell me he didn't get that job because of Brad.
He didn't get that job because of Brad.
So you think he got the gig on his own merits because he was a successful assistant coach at
He got it
Freo?
He got it because somebody had to get the fucking job. Anyway, this was the Flogcast for the pre-season. Starburns joined by Cookie,
We're still a bit rusty.
Morgs,
I'd give us a 7.5 out of 10.
Dan,
Damien Hardwick, the man that's going to coach Richmond for the next 5 years.
and Penal.
Well, a survey found that 99% of people who don't think Hardwick's going to coach Richmond are also members of the Flat Earth Society.
Fuck off. Thanks for listening. We'll see you when the season starts.